Hello, kia ora, I'm Philip Duncan. Thanks for joining us for our weekend weather update and our 7-day outlook across the country, recorded on Friday the 24th of January. Let's get into the forecast, kicking off with the Friday situation. Low pressure out to the east, high pressure out to our west and to our north, but it's this low pressure zone exiting Australia that's worth keeping an eye on. It's going to be moving in around Sunday and Monday, and yes, it does bring some severe weather risks to the country. So let's try and make sense of all of that. Here we are at lunchtime on Saturday. That low pressure zone now moving away from Australia and moving closer to New Zealand. Deepening a little bit, that means it's getting a little bit more powerful as it does so. But really, most of the country is quite dry on Saturday, at least for the morning. We will see some wet weather setting into the west coast. There could be some heavy falls there, and then later on into the day you'll start to see more of that wet weather sort of moving down from the north as that system slowly moves eastwards in towards the western side of the country. And the high over the Chatham Islands, so winds there are pretty light. We've also got this storm down in the Southern Ocean. These two aren't quite connected, but the energy kind of does go with the two of them as they move on through. And you'll see here on Sunday, they do kind of merge up a little bit. You've got that low falling apart over the top of the country, but at the same time, the high over Tasmania and that storm south of New Zealand help to dredge up this cooler airflow. So there will be a cooler change coming with the southerlies here on Sunday. In the North Island, you've got this broken up rain band. You'll probably be seeing the thunderstorm icon showing up. That doesn't guarantee a thunderstorm. It means you've got the right conditions for it. Bit of moisture around, the air pressure dropping, and then you've got that summer heat into the afternoon. That makes for some instability. So you need to track the rain radar on Sunday itself because those showers, the heaviest ones with the thunderstorms, they'll be hit and miss as it moves on through. Eastern areas, nice and hot and dry with those nor'westers blowing through, but you will find as the day goes on that cloud should start to thicken up. So let's take a look at the rainfall. This is for the weekend, covering from tonight through until Sunday night. And look, rainfall totals aren't huge. Now the orange blobs that you kind of see around the North Island, that's the computer modelling trying to work out where some of those heavy downpours and thunderstorms might be. The problem is it can just move around a little bit between now and then. That's why I'm saying on the day you've got to track the radar itself. Heaviest falls in the northwestern corner of the South Island and over on the west coast, where you're getting anywhere between about 60 and possibly 120 millimetres coming through over the weekend, and some spillover into Canterbury and some other eastern areas, maybe not going very far though down towards Otago. So this is Monday's setup. This is a wind map. Wind gust map, actually, to be more precise. So what you're seeing here is where that low pressure is, you've got this sort of purple shading. That's where you're talking winds that are severe gale, 90 k's an hour and over. So that is brushing areas like Cook Strait and Wellington, along the eastern side of the North Island, and the other wind tunnel, Auckland. Auckland, pretty exposed to a windy sou'wester, which is likely to get up to gale force and maybe severe gales. Hard to lock it in this far out, but Coromandel Peninsula, parts of Northland, coastal Waikato, also exposed, as is Banks Peninsula. So a big windy southerly quarter change on Monday, which is a long weekend, obviously, for the top half of the country with Auckland Anniversary Weekend. So if you're in a tent, just be aware, it's going to be quite windy on Monday. There'll be showers along the eastern side of the country as that southerly comes in. Maybe one or two might clip the western side of the upper North Island. Now by Tuesday, back to work for those people that were on holiday, in comes the high and the settled weather. So warm again on Tuesday, might be a couple of isolated showers here and there, mostly around the north, maybe a couple on the west coast. Otherwise, the main feature is this nor'wester coming out of Australia, and see the red line here, that measures the air thickness, how much heat and moisture is sort of in the atmosphere. And you can see it punching out here around Sydney and New South Wales as that nor'wester blows on through, which means after a cooler Monday and a colder Tuesday morning, we're talking about temperatures around Southland and Otago down to 3, 4, 5 degrees when you wake up on Tuesday morning. But by the afternoon, hot nor'westers blowing through thanks to that high and the storm south of New Zealand. On Wednesday, the next cooler change comes through again as that high moves away. These highs are not very strong at the moment. That's why they're not lingering for 2 or 3 weeks at a time, which is they sometimes can do when we have a really long, dry, hot summer. This one's stormy down here because of the Southern Ocean. That's making everything move past us a lot quicker at the moment. Windy westerlies and southwesterlies return on Wednesday. That means for eastern areas, sunnier and hotter. So there won't be too many complaints from eastern New Zealand because it's been a bit of a cloudier, cooler summer so far. In fact, Many eastern areas like Hawke's Bay, Gisborne, Wairarapa, Wellington and down to Canterbury have been over 2 degrees cooler than average over recent weeks. But next week, high pressure really does set in on Thursday. There might be a little line of showers around, and you can see in both islands there is the risk of some showers, but the winds are light. And our final map for Friday here of next week shows a similar setup. High pressure in control, most places dry. The rain showers you see here around the North Island, more than likely, will be a bit of morning cloud and drizzle for some of you in the east, and then it could turn into a thunderstorm in the afternoon. This is a whole week away, so we can't lock it in. But computer modelling, that's what it's suggesting. There's really not a lot to talk about elsewhere, but the tropics up here around Queensland, that's probably the most interesting new development. Low pressure forming up there around Queensland. We haven't been seeing that so far this year, but the Southern Ocean's still very stormy and still very much dominating our weather patterns for now. But we'll have to keep an eye on what's going on up here. The Coral Sea is a breeding ground for tropical storms, and when they form, the Coriolis effect can pull it towards New Zealand. So we always keep an eye on stormy stuff up there. But anyway, that is it for me for this week. Have yourselves a great weekend, a good long weekend if you're in the top half of the country. I am in that category, so I won't be here on Monday. So our next videos will be back again on Tuesday. Have a great weekend. We'll see you then.